All right, if you follow Tesla at all, you've been seeing the headlines, right? It's all about car sales, delivery numbers, but what if I told you that in 2025, that's not the real story anymore? Not even close. The entire way the market looks at this company is changing, like right now. We're moving way beyond just metal and wheels into something, well, something a whole lot bigger.
And this quote, it hits the nail on the head. That old playbook, everyone freaking out over quarterly delivery numbers, that's literally looking in the rearview mirror. If you really want to get what's happening with Tesla, you have to look forward, out the windshield, at what's coming down the road. So, what is on the road ahead? Well, it's this idea, a physical AI platform. Now, this is the key concept, the new lens that Wall Street is finally starting to look through. See, the value isn't just in the physical stuff anymore. It's in the software, the intelligence that brings all that hardware to life. We're talking about the cars, sure, but also the robots, and even the entire energy system.
And that brings us right to our first big point. This is a complete, top-to-bottom rethinking of what Tesla even is. Look, this isn't about some new product launch. This is a massive pivot, a shift from just selling you a car one time to selling intelligence as a subscription service.
Okay, this slide lays it out perfectly. The old way of valuing Tesla, super simple. How many cars did they sell? PE ratio, done. But now, it's a totally different ballgame. Now, it's what we call a sum of the parts analysis. You have to look at the AI, you have to look at energy, and you have to look at cars. And here's the kicker. Those new pieces, AI and energy, are becoming just as important, maybe even more important than the car business we all know. And check out what this means for the money side of things. It's huge. Selling a car is a one-and-done deal, right? You get maybe a 17% margin. That's your classic Ford or GM model. But an AI platform? Whoa. Now you're talking about recurring revenue like a subscription with software margins that could hit 70% or even higher. All of a sudden, your best comparison isn't a car company anymore. It's a tech giant like Microsoft or Nvidia. This is a whole different kind of financial engine.
Okay, so where's the proof in all this, right? Is it just talk? Well, the first most obvious piece of evidence for this whole AI pivot is what's happening with autonomy. This is where the theory, well, it literally hits the road. And here it is. This is the number. The one that really changed the entire conversation in 2025. 1.5 million miles driven between interventions for unsupervised FSD. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. This isn't just a small step up, no. This is the tipping point, the moment the AI proved, with data, that it's safer than a human behind the wheel.
And the pace this year, it's just been insane. First, back in January, we got the Model Y Juniper refresh, which kept the car sales humming along. Then, bam, June hits with that massive FSD milestone we just talked about. And by November, we weren't looking at drawings anymore. They rolled out the production intent Cybercab. Suddenly, the whole robotaxi idea went from a someday thing to something you could actually see and touch.
But look, autonomy is just one part of this whole new picture. You can't forget about the other two huge pieces. The energy business, which is basically the cash engine funding all of this, and then there's robotics, which honestly might be the ultimate endgame for the entire company.
I mean, just look at the difference in margins here. The auto business is doing okay, hovering around 17%, but the energy side is pulling in margins over 30%. In just the third quarter, they put out a staggering 12.5 gigawatt hours of energy storage. This part of the company has turned into an absolute cash machine, and that cash is what's paying for all the crazy R&D for AI and robot. And where does that R&D money go? Well, it goes right here, to the Optimus vision. And let's be super clear about this. This is not some fun side project. These robots are already being put to work inside Tesla's own factories. The long-term vision here is almost hard to wrap your head around. They want to tackle a huge piece of the global labor market. It's a goal so big it can make the entire car business seem small in comparison. This is the ultimate expression of that physical AI idea we talked about.
Okay, I know what you might be thinking. Robo-taxis? Humanoid robots? It still sounds a little bit like science fiction, right? And that's fair. That's exactly why we have to talk about the company's execution moat. That's their proven history of actually pulling off things that everyone else said were impossible.
Just think back for a minute. Remember production hell with the Model 3? They were on the brink of bankruptcy, and they solved it. They built the entire Shanghai Gigafactory from dirt to finished cars in less than a year. That's just unheard of. And they own their whole supply chain, from the 4680 battery cells all the way to their own AI chips, which means they didn't get slammed by supply chain problems like everyone else.
It's this track record that makes you take these wild future plans seriously.
But of course, this isn't some guaranteed slam dunk, not at all. To be fair, we have to look at the other side of the coin, the real risks and headwinds that could slow this whole thing down or even stop it.
And there are two big ones that really stand out. First, margin pressure. All those aggressive price cuts they've been doing, they've definitely squeezed the profit margins on the car side of the business down to that 17–18% range. And second, and this is the big wild card, is regulation. You can't just flip a switch on a national robotaxi network. You have to deal with a messy patchwork of state and local laws, and that could cause some major delays.
Okay, so let's tie all of this together. What does this huge bet on physical AI actually mean? For the company and, maybe for the rest of us too.
So here's the bottom line. This isn't a future what if anymore. The transition is happening now. Tesla isn't just an EV company. It's a physical AI platform. So if you really want to know where it's headed, you have to stop looking at those car delivery numbers. The smart money, the real story, is in the FSD data and the energy deployments. That's where the future is being built, right now.
So look, the AI vision isn't science fiction anymore. The data is there, the execution is happening. We've moved past, is this possible, into how fast will it happen, which really leaves us with the final, most important question. It's no longer a matter of if this is all going to change our world. The only real question left is, how fast?